Hey everybody, Jessica Coulter here, and I want to talk to you about remote learning and how to get the most out of it this year. So I am the CEO and founder of Ace Cookie Tutoring, and I also work as a substitute teacher in a couple school districts here in Kansas, in my local area. So I have worked a lot with remote learning this year, even though I'm currently in quarantine because there are some students in person at my current school. So, if you or your child is remote learning, let me know this message is relevant to you. Just tap that like or thumbs up button for me, or maybe even give me some love with the heart button. And if you want to let me know down below how you feel about remote learning, if you're a fan of it, if there's been some rough spots, give me an emoji or a GIF. Let's keep it as clean and positive as possible. So before we jump into some suggestions I have, the 3 tips about remote learning and how to make the most of it this year and really how to get enough education to make it, a good school year for you and your children, I want to properly introduce myself. Again, I am a substitute teacher, so these tips are coming from firsthand knowledge of class today. The things I saw, things I wish students would and wouldn't do. And I also want to let you know if you or your child needs some one-on-one support, would love to work with you. So I have a tutoring business, Ace Cookie Tutoring. I specialize in the ACT, proofreading, and middle school math, and I offer in-person and online lessons. So here we go. Tip number 1. When it comes to remote learning, I've got to encourage you or your children to keep your cameras on. I cannot tell you how many classes I go to every single day as a para sub, which was what I'm doing right now, and the students don't have their cameras on. And I gotta say, if I can't see a student's face when I'm working with him or her in a breakout room, I've got no idea if he or she is there. And the teacher has no idea if the students are learning because there's no chance of seeing, looks of confusion, looks of, I got this, I'm bored, move on. There's no way to get that interaction, those facial expressions, without the cameras on. I also encourage you. Some districts are encouraging and almost, I won't say forcing the camera issue, but students are trying to say they have their camera on by pointing at a wall, which is, great that they have it on, but they're kind of missing the mark. I mean, it's not going to help the student or the teacher figure out, kind of eye messages or facial expressions if a wall is what the teacher gets to see. Also, just a little kind of pain point of my own. Students that have light, like ceiling fans or windows in their rooms, please do not point the cameras directly at those. Because I gotta say, after staring at those for 7 hours a day, sometimes I see the bright flashy lights and I know that classmates and teachers probably don't appreciate it either. Again, faces, not walls, not windows. Cameras on helps everybody. Yes, I know it might be a privacy issue. Yes, I know it might be uncomfortable. But I gotta say, unless there's some kind of extenuating circumstances, turn the cameras on. So, if, like I said, you're remote learning, let me know below in the comments. Also know that I have a Facebook group. The link's in the description. Facebook.com/groups/A's for students. If you need some homework help, or maybe your child does, join my group, post those homework questions, and I would be glad to help you out. So let's move on to kind of idea number 2 here for remote learning and how to make the absolute most of this school year. So let's talk about interactions. Okay, so we've talked about the cameras. So your camera is on or your child is on. Awesome, you've made the first step. Now what happens, your student is asked a question, or the teacher poses a question in your college class or master class, depending on who I'm talking to. If this teacher asks a question and all he sees is 20 blank faces and no one's typing anything in the chat, no one's unmuting and answering the question, that class is just going to be boring and it's going to go on and on. And unfortunately, the teacher has no idea what to do. Does he or she repeat the last 5 minutes? Does he or she give another example? Is it time to move on? Should he just say, hey guys, go work on homework, or you know what to do, goodbye? I mean, without any interactions, there's no way for a teacher to know what to do. I mean, you've got to get X amount of chapters done. You've got to cover certain material. The teacher needs some help from students on the cameras, in the chat, in, Zoom or WebEx or whatever you guys are using. So there's not going to be the student raising his or her hand in class. We've got to have those facial expressions. We've got to have some kind of interactions through the camera. I know it's different. I know it's not ideal, but help your student help your teacher, or help your teacher help you. So guys, just want to check in. Want to see if we're liking the video. If we are, great. Tap that like or heart button for me. Feel free to share the video. And know if you're on YouTube and you're not watching on Facebook, become a subscriber of my channel so you know when the next video is posted. So one last thing I want to bring up about remote learning, and this kind of all goes together, breakout rooms. So I know Zoom has them and I know WebEx has them. So what a lot of students are doing, or what's happening, at least from what I'm seeing in my current school, is the teacher does class, 10, 15 minutes, whatever it might be, and then all of the kids are sent to their own breakout rooms. So the goal there is that there are no distractions, so that way your child or you can just work on your own. But then it comes down to, how do you get help? Where is the learning supposed to take place if something was missed during the lecture portion of class? Well, at least on WebEx, there's something that says ask for help. So when your child clicks that button, he or she is notifying the teacher, hey, I could use some help. The teacher can go directly to that breakout room. So definitely encourage your child to use that. Also, if your child is in a breakout room with other students, they're supposed to be doing some kind of group project, make sure someone's screen sharing, help your child to know how to do that. Also make sure, cameras are on, that batteries, chargers are there available, because if you're in a breakout room and, you're learning from your students or other students, it's really stinky to not get to finish that project or that assignment because your computer dies. Also, I encourage, at least when I'm working with students, turn your mic on, unmute yourself when you're in a breakout room, because there's going to be like 3 or 4 students, maybe 10 in a breakout room. So yes, the feedback might get a little bad, but it won't be near as bad as if the entire class is there. So make the most of breakout rooms. Use it just like you would asking your friend for help in class, or maybe if your teacher is having you guys do rotations or group work. Okay, breakout rooms can be wonderful. Make sure to use them successfully. So those are my 3 tips for you about remote learning and how to make the most of it this year, and how to learn as much as possible as you would in a regular school year. So if you need some help, or your child needs help, especially with homework and remote learning in general, join my Facebook group. The link's in the description, facebook.com/groups/A's for students. So again, if you need help with homework, whether it's related or not related to remote learning, join my Facebook group so you can get the homework help you need, so you can stay on track this year and not let remote learning keep you behind. Thank you so much. See you in the next video.